What if AI could help you get paid every single day? Imagine waking up, checking your phone, and seeing money in your account. No endless hustle, no trading every hour for a paycheck. For years, I thought passive income was just a fantasy for the wealthy or well-connected. But what if the real secret was a tool anyone could use? This is how I built a simple AI-powered system that worked for me 24/7. It wasn't about getting rich overnight, it was about gaining freedom. The freedom to take a day off without stress. I'll show you the exact steps I took, the moment it all clicked, and how technology can change the way you earn. Ready to see how AI can work for you? Let's pull back the curtain. Before we dive in, let's tackle the big questions. How can AI actually make you money every day? I'll show you how an AI can perform valuable tasks people pay for, automatically. Do you need a big investment? No. I started with almost nothing, using affordable tools and a clever idea. Is passive income really passive? Not totally. You front-load the work, then let the system run with minimal effort. Do you need tech skills? Absolutely not. If you can use a smartphone, you're set. This isn't about mastering code. It's about using simple tools to build a better future. My story proves anyone can leverage AI for real results. A few months ago, my freelance life was a roller coaster, 1 month flush with projects, the next scraping by. The cycle of feast and famine was exhausting. One big client gone, and suddenly I was scrambling. The stress was relentless. I was always hustling, always worried about the next paycheck. Freedom? It felt like a myth. I was chained to my laptop, never able to switch off. I realized I wasn't building a career, just surviving gig to gig. I needed stability, something that didn't depend on constant hustle. That's when I knew I had to find a better way. The unpredictability wore me down. Every email was a mix of hope and dread. Financial anxiety crept into every part of my life. Social plans, family visits, even simple joys. I was always reacting, never building. One tough month, I barely made rent. My tiny savings vanished and I felt like a failure. True freedom, I realized, meant security. The ability to make choices, not just survive. I needed a safety net, something that worked even when I didn't. That was my turning point. My breaking point came with a single email. My biggest client was gone, and so was half my income. Panic set in. I was trapped, selling my time with nothing to fall back on. That night, I stopped searching for gigs and started searching for solutions, stable income automation, passive business ideas. I discovered stories of people using AI to automate tasks and build online ventures. At first, I was skeptical. AI sounded too complex, too corporate. But the more I read, the more I saw ordinary people making it work. A spark of hope, maybe technology could be my safety net. It was the first real glimpse of a different future. Desperation led me to the world of AI. I dove into forums, tutorials, and blogs, realizing AI wasn't just for tech giants. There were tools for creating images, editing videos, and, most interesting, generating written content automatically. I tried free AI writing assistants, amazed as they produced quality text in seconds. Suddenly, my income problem wasn't about finding more clients. It was about building a better system. What if AI could do the heavy lifting? What if I could create value without doing every task myself? I shifted from freelancer to entrepreneur, seeing AI as the engine of a business. After a week of experimenting, I saw the potential AI could generate products, not just help with productivity. This was the leverage I needed to finally stop trading time for money. After a week of intense research and experimentation, the light bulb moment finally happened. It wasn't a sudden flash of genius, but a slow-burning realization that connected all the dots. I was sitting at my desk, looking at a folder full of AI-generated articles on various topics, from digital marketing tips for small businesses to healthy recipes for busy professionals. I had produced dozens of them with minimal effort. I thought about the pain points of my former freelance clients. What did they all have in common? They were all business owners who were too busy to create their own content. They needed blog posts, articles, and social media updates to attract customers, but they didn't have the time or skill to write them. That's when the idea hit me with full force. I was looking at the solution. I didn't need to sell my time to write for them anymore. I could sell them the content itself. I could create a simple online store that sold ready-to-use blog posts and articles for various industries. Business owners could visit my site, browse a catalog of topics relevant to their niche, and purchase a high-quality article for a flat fee. It was brilliant in its simplicity. I wouldn't be a freelancer anymore. I would be a purveyor of valuable, ready-made digital products. The AI would be my silent, tireless content factory, working 24/7. This idea solved all my previous problems. It removed the unpredictability because I wouldn't be reliant on a few big clients. Instead, I could have hundreds of small customers. It eliminated the need to trade time for money because the product was created by the AI. My role would shift from being a writer to being a curator and a marketer. All I had to do was guide the AI to create relevant content, package it nicely on a website, and get it in front of the right people. The potential for scale was enormous. Unlike my freelance work, there was no limit to how many articles I could sell in a day. The excitement was overwhelming. For the first time in months, I felt a surge of genuine hope and motivation. This wasn't just another scheme, it was a solid business model built on a real need in the market. I would be providing a valuable service to time-strapped entrepreneurs while building a system that could generate income for me passively. The pieces all fit together perfectly. I wasn't just finding a way to make money, I was designing a new way to live, one where my income wasn't tied to the hours I spent in front of a computer. The path forward was finally clear. With a clear idea in my mind, the next step was to turn it into a reality. The setup phase felt both exciting and, honestly, a little intimidating, but I was determined to keep it simple. My first task was to choose the right AI tool for the job. After my week of experimentation, I knew I needed something that was not only powerful, but also user-friendly and affordable. So I settled on a subscription-based AI content generator that had a reputation for producing high-quality, long-form articles. I signed up for their basic plan, which felt like a small, manageable investment in my new business. This tool would become the core engine of my entire operation, my silent partner working behind the scenes. Once I had my content engine, I needed a place to sell my products. I needed a digital storefront. I knew I didn't have the time or the technical skills to build a complex website from scratch. I needed something quick, easy, and professional looking. So I opted for a simple website builder with e-commerce capabilities built in. These platforms are designed for people exactly like me, with drag-and-drop interfaces that make creating a website feel more like arranging blocks than writing code. I spent a weekend creating a clean, simple landing page. My goal was to make it incredibly easy for a busy business owner to understand what I was offering and find what they needed without any confusion. The design of the website was crucial. I wanted it to scream efficiency and professionalism. I created a straightforward menu with categories like marketing, finance, and wellness, so visitors could easily navigate to topics relevant to their business. Each product listing featured a compelling title, a brief description of the article, and a clear price. I didn't need fancy graphics or complicated features. The entire focus was on the value proposition. High-quality, ready-to-use content that could save business owners time and money. The entire website setup took me less than 2 days, proving that you don't need to be a web developer to create a functional online store. The final piece of this initial step was populating my new store with inventory. Using my chosen AI tool, I started generating my first batch of articles. I focused on popular business niches where content is always in high demand. I would give the AI a specific title and a few keywords, and within minutes, it would produce a complete article. I wasn't just blindly copying and pasting, though. I took a few minutes to read through each one, making minor edits for tone and clarity, and ensuring it was formatted perfectly. I was acting as the quality control manager, making sure every product I listed was something I would be proud to sell. With the storefront built and the AI writer ready, the next step was to connect all the moving parts. I needed to create a seamless system where a customer could make a purchase and receive their article without me having to manually intervene every single time. This automation was the key to making the income truly passive. My website builder had a feature that allowed for the sale of digital products. This was a game changer. I could upload each article as a digital file, and once a customer completed their purchase, the system would automatically send them an email with a secure link to download their content. This was the magic I was looking for. The process I established was simple but effective. First, I would use the AI tool to generate an article based on a trending topic. Next, I would give it a quick proofread and format it into a clean, easy-to-read document. Then, I would upload this document to my website as a new digital product, giving it a clear title, a description, and setting the price. That was it. From that point on, the sales process was completely automated. A customer could find the article, pay for it, and have it in their inbox in minutes, whether I was at my desk, at the gym, or even asleep. This was the system that would finally break the link between my time and my income. I didn't need to know how to write blog posts on 100 different topics. I didn't even need to be an expert in the fields I was selling content for. My role had fundamentally changed. I was no longer a creator, I was a curator and a system manager. The AI was the expert writer, capable of researching and composing articles on almost any subject. I was simply the middleman, bridging the gap between the AI's incredible capability and the buyer's specific need. This realization was incredibly empowering. It meant my business wasn't limited by my own knowledge or skills. It could grow as big as I wanted it to. This setup was a stark contrast to my old freelancing life. As a freelancer, every new project meant starting from scratch, with hours of research, writing, and editing. My new system was about creating an asset once and selling it over and over again. While each article was sold individually, the system itself was the true product. It was a machine designed to generate revenue with minimal ongoing effort. I had successfully replaced the need for my active labor with a clever combination of user-friendly technology and a solid automated workflow. The foundation was now firmly in place. The final step before going live was figuring out the pricing and payment system. This was a critical decision. I wanted my price to be a no-brainer for a small business owner. It needed to be significantly cheaper than hiring a freelance writer, but still high enough to make the business profitable. I researched what freelance writers typically charge and found that it was often hundreds of dollars. I decided to price each of my pre-written AI articles at a flat rate of 1,000 rupees, which is about $12. This felt like the sweet spot. It was an affordable impulse buy for a business needing content, and for me, it was almost pure profit. Next, I needed a way to accept payments securely. The stress of chasing invoices as a freelancer was still fresh in my mind, so I wanted this part to be completely hands-off. My website builder offered easy integration with popular payment gateways like Stripe and PayPal. Setting this up was surprisingly simple. Within an hour, my store was fully equipped to accept payments from customers anywhere in the world. The money would be automatically deposited into my account. No more invoices, no more follow-up emails. Just simple, clean transactions. With the website ready, the products loaded, and the payment system active, a wave of nervous excitement washed over me. I was ready to go. Before launching, I did one final review of the entire customer journey. I clicked through the categories, added an article to my cart, and went through the checkout process myself using a test transaction. Everything worked perfectly. This final check gave me the confidence that I was offering a professional and reliable service. My little AI-powered business was no longer just an idea, it was a real, functioning entity. The night before I planned to start promoting the site, I felt a sense of accomplishment I hadn't felt in a long time. I had created a system from scratch using my resourcefulness and a few smart tools. I had taken control of my financial destiny instead of leaving it in the hands of clients. The setup was complete, all in just a few days of focused work. Now, all that was left to do was to open the doors and wait. I had no idea if anyone would actually buy my AI-written articles, but I was ready to find out. After all the setup, the moment of truth had arrived. I didn't have a marketing budget, so I had to be resourceful. I started by sharing a link to my new website in a few online forums for small business owners and entrepreneurs. I wrote a simple, honest post explaining that I had a resource for affordable, ready-to-use blog content for anyone who was too busy to write it themselves. Honestly, I didn't expect much on that first day. I figured it would take time for people to discover the site, if they ever did. I tried to keep my expectations low to avoid disappointment, telling myself that even if it failed, I had learned a valuable lesson. So I closed my laptop and tried to put it out of my mind for the rest of the day. Later that evening, while I was making dinner, my phone buzzed. It was an email notification. I glanced at it, expecting it to be spam or a social media update, but the subject line made my heart skip a beat. "You've made a sale." I dropped everything and fumbled to open the email. There it was, in black and white. Someone had purchased one of my articles. Someone I had never met had trusted my website enough to enter their credit card information and pay me 1,000 rupees for a blog post that had been created entirely by an AI. It was a surreal and exhilarating moment. The money wasn't life-changing, but the validation was immense. The feeling was completely different from getting paid as a freelancer. When a client paid an invoice, it felt like a transaction for my time and effort. This felt like magic. I had earned money while I was chopping vegetables in my kitchen. The system I had built had worked. The AI had done the writing, the website had done the selling, and the payment gateway had handled the transaction. My only involvement was the initial setup and a simple forum post. This single sale wasn't just 1,000 rupees, it was proof of concept. It proved that the idea was viable and that my dream of creating a passive income stream was not just a fantasy. That first sale clicked everything into place for me. It transformed the entire project from a hopeful experiment into a real business. I immediately went to my laptop to see which article had sold. It was one titled 5 Social Media Tips for Local Businesses. I sent a thank you email to the customer even though the system had already delivered the product automatically. I was just so grateful. That night, I didn't sleep much. My mind was racing with possibilities. If I could sell one, I could sell 10. If I could sell 10, I could sell 100. The barrier of self-doubt had been shattered by a single, beautiful notification. Buoyed by the success of that first sale, I knew I had to build on the momentum. One sale could have been a fluke, but I was determined to make it a pattern. The next morning, I woke up with a new sense of purpose. My goal was no longer just to wait for customers to find me, it was to actively bring them to my digital doorstep. I repeated my strategy from the first day, but with more focus. I spent a few hours researching and identifying more online communities where my target audience spent their time. Small business owners, marketers, and entrepreneurs. I joined relevant Facebook groups, subreddits, and niche forums. My approach was never to be spammy. I didn't just drop links and run. I engaged in conversations, offered helpful advice, and only mentioned my website when it was directly relevant. For example, if a business owner posted about struggling to find time for their blog, I would reply with helpful tips and then mention my site with affordable pre-written articles. This soft sell approach worked wonders. It built trust and positioned me as a helpful resource rather than just a seller. Slowly but surely, the sales started to trickle in more consistently. Another sale, then 2 more the next day. By the end of that first full week, I had made 7 sales, totaling 7,000 rupees. I was completely blown away. This was more than just pocket money. This was a significant amount that could make a real difference in my monthly budget. Each sale reinforced the validity of the business model. The best part was the efficiency of it all. The AI could generate an article in about 3 minutes. I would spend another 5 minutes proofreading and formatting it. For less than 10 minutes of work, I had created a digital asset that could be sold an infinite number of times. The return on my time investment was astronomical. This initial success gave me the confidence to reinvest back into the business. I started creating more content for my store, expanding into new niches like health, technology, and personal finance. The more articles I had available, the wider the net I could cast. I was building a library of solutions for a growing range of customers. The trickle of sales was becoming a small but steady stream. It wasn't a flood yet, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of control over my income. I wasn't just waiting for the phone to ring, I was building the machine that made it ring. After a few weeks of consistent effort, something incredible started to happen. I reached a tipping point. The sales were no longer just a result of my active promotion in forums. My website started to gain its own organic traction. People who had bought articles were telling their friends. Some customers were coming back to buy more. And most importantly, my simple website was beginning to show up in search engine results. When people searched for things like buy blog posts for my business, my site was starting to appear. This was the holy grail of passive income. The system was starting to fuel itself. The daily sales notifications became a regular part of my life. I would wake up in the morning, and before I even got out of bed, I'd check my email. More often than not, there would be 1, 2, or even 3 sales that had come in overnight while I was asleep. The feeling was just as thrilling every single time. It was a constant, tangible reminder that my AI-powered machine was working for me around the clock. My income was no longer dependent on the hours I was awake and at my desk. This was the freedom I had been dreaming of, and it was finally my reality. At this stage, my daily workload to maintain the business was minimal. I would spend about an hour each day on it. This hour was split between a few key tasks, using the AI to generate a few new articles, responding to any customer inquiries, and occasionally posting in a new online community to continue driving traffic. The rest of the day was mine. I could work on other projects, go for a walk, meet friends, or do absolutely nothing, all with the peace of mind that my business was still running and earning in the background. My income had been successfully decoupled from my time. Soon I was consistently making between 10,000 and 12,000 rupees a week. which translated to an average of over 1,500 every single day. Some days were higher, some were slightly lower, but the income was steady. It had become a reliable, predictable source of revenue that completely transformed my financial situation. The constant anxiety about making rent was gone, replaced by a sense of security and empowerment. I had gone from being a stressed-out freelancer to the owner of a profitable, automated online business. The breakthrough was complete, and it was all thanks to a simple idea and the incredible power of AI. The true power of this new business model became clear when I realized what made it so effective: the AI itself. The beauty of artificial intelligence is that it works tirelessly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever needing a break. While I was sleeping, eating dinner, or out with friends, my AI content generator was always ready, waiting for the next command. It was like having the most efficient employee in the world, one who never got tired, never complained, and could produce high-quality work in a matter of minutes. This constant operational readiness meant my business was never truly closed. A customer in a different time zone could make a purchase at 3 a.m. my time, and the system would fulfill their order instantly. This AI advantage was the core of my newfound freedom. As a freelancer, my income was directly capped by the number of hours I could physically work. There was a hard limit to my earning potential. With AI, that limit was shattered. I could generate 10 articles in the time it used to take me to research just one. This incredible speed and efficiency allowed me to scale up my business in a way that would have been impossible on my own. I was no longer the bottleneck in my own success. I had successfully leveraged technology to multiply my efforts, creating a system that could grow exponentially without requiring a proportional increase in my personal labor. Furthermore, the content I was selling was not low quality or generic filler. The AI tool I used was built on sophisticated algorithms and vast data sets, allowing it to produce engaging, well-researched, and SEO-friendly blog posts for almost any niche imaginable. It could write with authority on topics I knew nothing about, from advanced marketing strategies to the benefits of a ketogenic diet. This meant I was providing genuine value to my customers. I wasn't just using a gimmick to make a quick buck. I was offering a legitimate solution to a real problem for business owners, giving them something they desperately needed to grow their own ventures. In essence, I was not just using AI to make money for myself, I was using it as a bridge to deliver value to others. The AI handled the creation, the website handled the transaction, and my role was to oversee the entire process, ensuring quality and guiding the strategy. This powerful combination allowed me to run a business that was both profitable and helpful. The AI wasn't just a tool, it was a partner that empowered me to build something far greater than I could have ever managed alone. It was a constant, reliable force working in the background, propelling my business forward while I lived my life. This By the end of the first full month, I had made nearly 50,000 rupees from this single business alone. This income was generated with just a few hours of work each week, a stark contrast to the endless grind of my previous freelance career. I no longer needed to hustle for clients or worry about project pipelines. I had built something sustainable, something that I owned completely. This wasn't just about making money. It was about reclaiming my life from the demands of traditional work. I had successfully used AI to build a bridge to a more balanced, fulfilling, and financially secure existence. The steady stream of passive income did more than just pay my monthly bills. It allowed me to build real, tangible financial security for the first time in my adult life. The constant weight of financial anxiety that had shadowed me for so long finally began to lift. I was no longer living paycheck to paycheck, one unexpected expense away from a crisis. Instead, I could see my bank account growing steadily. This newfound stability was a powerful feeling. It gave me the confidence to start thinking about the future, not just worrying about how to get through the present week or month. With this security, I was able to make financial decisions from a position of strength, not desperation. I started by building an emergency fund, a safety net that would protect me from any of life's unexpected turns. Once that was in place, I began to save and even invest a portion of my earnings. These were financial goals that had always felt like distant, unattainable dreams when I was a freelancer. Now they were achievable steps on a clear path toward long-term wealth and independence. The power of passive income was not just in the money itself, but in the opportunities and choices it unlocked for me. This financial peace of mind had a profound impact on my overall well-being. The reduction in stress was palpable. I slept better at night. I was more present and engaged in my relationships with family and friends because my mind wasn't constantly occupied with financial worries. The freedom from that mental burden was perhaps the greatest return on my investment. I realized that true wealth isn't just about having a lot of money, it's about having the freedom to not have to think about money all the time. My AI-powered business had given me that incredible gift. Ultimately, this journey taught me that passive income is not a myth or a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a deliberate strategy for building a sustainable financial future. By leveraging a powerful tool like AI, I was able to create an asset that generated value and income independently of my direct involvement. I had built something that worked for me, creating a foundation of security that allowed me to approach life with a newfound sense of calm, confidence, and optimism. This was the true power of combining a simple idea with the incredible potential of modern technology. As I look back on this journey, I've distilled my experience into a few key lessons that I believe can help anyone get started. The first and most important lesson is this: don't wait for the perfect idea, start with a simple one. My business wasn't born from a moment of pure genius. It came from connecting a simple problem, people need content, with a simple solution. AI can create it. You don't need to invent the next big thing. Think about small, repetitive tasks that people dislike doing or just don't have time for. That is where opportunity really lies. Your first idea doesn't have to be your last, but you have to start somewhere. The simple act of starting is what separates dreamers from doers. The second lesson is that you don't need to be an expert. You just need the right tools. I am not a professional writer, a marketing guru, or a web developer. I was just someone who was willing to learn how to use a few user-friendly tools. The AI was my writer, the website builder was my developer, and the payment gateway was my accountant. Today's technology is designed to be accessible. Stop letting the feeling of "I don't know how" hold you back. The real skill is not in mastering the technology itself, but in identifying how to piece these simple tools together to create something valuable for others. Focus on finding the right tools, not on becoming an expert in everything. The third lesson is to leverage AI and technology to scale your efforts without scaling your stress. As a freelancer, my income was directly tied to my time. To earn more, I had to work more, which led to burnout. My AI business, however, was designed for leverage. The AI could do in minutes what would take me hours. This is the fundamental shift you need to make. Look for ways that technology can multiply your output. Whether it's generating content, automating emails, or managing social media, find a tool that can do the heavy lifting for you. This allows your business to grow without you having to sacrifice your life for it. Finally, remember that taking action is the only thing that really matters. You can read 100 success stories and watch 1,000 tutorials, but nothing will change until you take that first step. My journey started with a simple Google search, followed by signing up for a free AI tool. It wasn't a giant leap. It was a small, manageable step. What is one small step you can take today? Maybe it's researching an AI tool in a field you're interested in. Maybe it's sketching out a simple business idea on a piece of paper. Whatever it is, do it now. Progress comes from action, not just from planning. Once you've taken that initial action, the next set of lessons is about building a system that lasts. The fourth lesson is to automate everything you possibly can. This is the secret to true passive income. Your goal should be to build a system that requires as little manual intervention as possible. From the moment a customer lands on your site to the moment they receive their product, the process should be seamless and automatic. This frees you up to focus on the things that only you can do, like thinking about the bigger picture, exploring new marketing ideas, or deciding on the future direction of your business. Your time is your most valuable asset. Don't waste it on tasks a machine can do for you. The fifth and final lesson is that consistency is the engine of growth. My business didn't become successful overnight. It grew because I showed up for 1 hour every single day. I consistently added new articles to my store, and I consistently engaged with potential customers. These small daily actions compounded over time, building momentum that eventually carried the business forward on its own. It's not about making huge, heroic efforts once a month. It's about the small, disciplined habits you practice every day. Once you have a process that works, stick with it. That steady, consistent effort is what builds a reliable and predictable stream of income. This mindset of automation and consistency will transform how you approach your venture. It shifts you from being an employee in your own business to being the owner of a system. You stop trading your time for money and start building an asset that works for you. This doesn't mean you'll never have to work again. It means the work you do is strategic and high impact, rather than tedious and repetitive. You become the architect of your income stream, not just a cog in the machine. This is the path to creating not just wealth, but also freedom and time. So take these lessons to heart. Start simple, use the right tools, and don't be afraid to take that first step. Then, build a system that can run without you by automating relentlessly and staying consistent in your efforts. The world of AI has opened up possibilities that didn't exist just a few years ago. You have access to more leverage than any generation before you. The opportunity is right there in front of you. The only question left is, what will you build with it? The journey starts now. So I want you to think about this question seriously. What can AI help you with in your own life? What hidden knowledge, passion, or simple skill do you possess that, when combined with the power of artificial intelligence, could be turned into something that people will gladly pay for? The answer might be simpler than you think. Perhaps it's creating custom meal plans, generating social media content for local businesses, or even designing simple logos. The opportunities are as vast as your imagination. The key is to stop seeing AI as a threat and start seeing it as your greatest potential collaborator. The future is not something that just happens to us. It is something that we build day by day with the choices we make and the actions we take. You have the power to design a life where your income is not solely dependent on the hours you work. You can build systems that create value and generate revenue while you focus on what truly matters to you. This is not a fantasy, it is the new reality of entrepreneurship in the digital age. The tools are here. The knowledge is accessible. The only missing ingredient is your decision to begin. If this story has inspired you or sparked an idea, I urge you not to let that feeling fade. Take one small concrete step today, right now. Open a new tab and research an AI tool. Write down one simple business idea. Tell a friend about your plan to hold yourself accountable. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and your journey toward financial freedom can begin with a single click. Let this be the moment you decide to let technology work for you instead of the other way around. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope my story has shown you that a different way is possible. If this video inspired you, please hit the like button to let me know. If you are ready to learn more about how you can get started on your own AI-powered business, comment AI below. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories and practical tips on building passive income with the incredible tools that are shaping our future. The power to change your life is in your hands. Go build something amazing.